All right, everybody, welcome. I believe this is the start of the Doing the Most podcast.
It is absolutely the start of the Doing the Most podcast.
I'm very
happy to be here. Very honored to be on the first episode.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. I
thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
So I think we just want to start out giving a little background. If someone stumbles upon this recording right here, what are they getting themselves into? So to those of you who don't know me, my name is Shannon Fairweather. I am the CEO of Doing the Most, along here with my co-host.
My name's Daniel Linger. Very happy to be here. I thought I was getting an intro from you, but yeah, I'm also CEO of Doing the Most.
You. Yeah, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. I'm very happy to be here.
Cool. So Daniel knows this, but to those of you who do know me, who are one of my friends or close acquaintances, I've been wanting to start a podcast for at least a year now, and I've been involved in a lot of similar things. I did the live shows at the Greatest Bar with Dirty Water Media, and that was so fun. And ever since then, we've been kind of just slowly but surely creating a podcast studio in our apartment. So I've wanted to do a podcast on so many different things. I wanted to do one with you on business and on lifestyle stuff and relationship stuff and travel and just beyond. And then I also really wanted to do one with some of my girlfriends to talk about, more girl things, focused things, our friendships, our stories, our insights. And I even wanted to do one with my mom at one point. And so we kind of came to the conclusion that fuck it, let's put it all in one. And
who fucking cares? Everything's going in one podcast.
Let's do the most with it and have it be the Doing the Most podcast. So this is by no means my show. This is by no means me and Daniel's show. I see myself hosting with you often. I see me getting in here with some of my friends. I see you coming on here and getting some cool people on here. So if you want to be one of our listeners, I think our goal here is to really just provide some content that is not only entertaining, but also provides value and a lot of diversity as well. We want to have some really cool conversations that no one else is really having, and we want to also just do the most in a sense that we're doing the most in every single way, from business to relationships, and I want to get some really cool experts in here. And
like an encompassing course for life. If anyone has read Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, amazing book. If you haven't, you should definitely read it. But I could see this podcast shaping up to be a little bit like that, where it's incredibly entertaining and, you can read the whole thing in one sitting, or in my case, half the book on the airplane back from Florida. But also give you real life things that you can relate to your own life and your own business or whatever, and various different topics. So definitely not limited by any box. So we're gonna be diving around, which will be cool.
I'm not sure what our category will be, but it's just essentially doing the most.
Life. Doing the most in life.
Yep. And we want to bring in, everyone does the most in their own way. Just because we do the most in a certain way, have that be all the ways that we will get into: business, travel, relationship, food, tequila. But
nootropics, coffee.
Exactly. But I want to bring in, Dr. Martoni, who does the most in terms of
all of our
sleep.
Amazing friends.
And yes, I want to get your brother in to talk about music. So to kick it off, I think we've given the gist of what this podcast really will be about. You really are the first person I really want to highlight in the Doing the Most series. So for those of you who do not know Daniel, he is just pure genius, in my opinion. I don't know anyone with the brain that you have. And, it's not just because I'm not just hyping you up here. This is true. I think anyone who knows you will say this. And I think you have I know you have a lot of insight that can help a lot of people, because you have changed so much in the past couple of years, and not only mentally, but just success-wise. When I first met you, we were hanging out in a stranger's attic.
Yep.
We were,
$250 a month. Thank you, Riley.
Driving to Kelly's for all of our dates in a...
best $4 date you can buy.
Yep, in a stunning vehicle, too.
Oh, yeah.
Pure style.
1995 Ford Taurus, or no, 1999 beige Ford Taurus. No heat, no air AC.
Yep.
Always trash in the back seat.
I go on my
Lot of
Snapchat memories every now and then from this time of year, and literally just 3 years ago, you and I were just hanging out in a very different way. And I tell anyone who knows me, I hype up my friends, my loved ones, and you have gone from $1,000 in your bank account to $50,000 in your bank account within. Just to start. So let's back it up here a little bit. Obviously, you've had much bigger weeks since then, but you literally had $1,000 in your bank account. I remember buying your flight to come visit me in Ireland because you had to pay me back, and all of a sudden I come back from abroad and something just changed. So let's get into that story.
Sure. Yeah, I had a full-on business by the time you came back from abroad.
Yeah. So what was the time frame between $1,000 in your bank account to $50,000 in your bank account? Just one transaction.
It was like 3 weeks, but let's call it 4 weeks. Like basically under 30 days.
Around a month.
Around a month, yeah. And I had never had more than maybe like $4,000 in my bank account ever in my life. So just out of college, rent, food, student loans, nice juicy $750 payment every month is very intimidating. Especially when you have like $1,500 all the time. So, yeah, that was a big moment to go from $1,000 worried about buying food to, hey, I can survive for months if I hypothetically never make money.
Right. So that obviously didn't just come from a lottery ticket or luck or chance. You definitely made that happen. So to the people out there listening, I'm sure they have so many questions, but I think one of them would be, if you were to create a 3-step process to going from zero or around $0 to $50,000 in 1 month, what would that 3-step course be?
That's a great question.
If there is one.
No, I can definitely sum it down.
Yeah.
But to give a little more perspective, I had started that business at the end of 20 whatever year it was. I forget what. It was like December 31st.
Yeah.
And then that happened by April 1st. I had around $50,000, which was really cool. So, I mean, that's a matter of
it's not like it took, this wasn't just because you just graduated from college and had a great job opportunity. You started this skill from zero to where you got it to go.
I think that's important to note, just because like it can seem so daunting. Like, to start making like $10,000 a month is always like a really cool metric to hit, but it always seems like you got to put in a year or 2 years to even get there.
Right.
Not really. Not really.
Or you need a degree. Or you need an internship. Or you need to go to school.
Definitely don't need that.
Exactly.
No, I learned a lot in school, and I met a lot of really cool people and grew a lot as a person. But when it came to
we're
financial,
pro school in some senses, but
I'm pro education for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
But in terms of like what I needed to make sure that I was making money had nothing to really, like, nothing direct from like a class or anything. So as long as you're curious and you can educate yourself, so wherever you are.
So before we get into the three steps, just to clarify, you could start this. Essentially, saying anyone can do this.
That's the point I'm trying to make, is that anyone can do this. Even if you just have a phone and like you need Wi-Fi, go to a major city and there'll be like data or something. And just like go on YouTube, right? So if I had to condense it down to 3 steps, I'd say first and foremost, pick your skill. So pick your skill, find a partner, and execute.
All right. So first one.
Pick your skill.
Let's elaborate on that. So
for me, when I came back from visiting you and abroad, I had this whole like Satori moment on the plane, right? This moment of realization. And I decided that I'm going to use the knowledge I have in marketing to start making money. So for me, I started thinking niches, et cetera, et cetera. I settled on the renewable industry. And then I thought advertising, right? Those are my 2 things. So my skill was going to be advertising. As soon as I got back, I found a course online talking all about Facebook advertising. I was like, yes, this is my course. I think it was like $100 or something. And I got the course, and then I went through it, and I started learning a skill. Okay?
Right, so it's not even necessarily a skill that you need to already have.
No, you
Yeah.
can learn it. I was up at 5 in the
Yeah.
morning. I had coffee. I learned it in like a week, and I was
Exactly.
like, all right, I can do this.
If people are wondering to themselves, well, other than Facebook advertising, what if I don't think that's for me? Can you give a couple more like examples?
Sure. I mean, anything. Recording audio, right? That's what my brother does. His skill is I'm going to record artists. If you're an artist, start seeing if you can sell some paintings, or if you are good with video, go video somebody, or if you want to do creative work for a company, it's really anything, right? Any kind of skill.
There's certain skills though that
High income skills.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that you can make the $0 to $50,000 in the amount of time.
Yeah. So let's talk high income skills. So before I was doing marketing, I was really, really focused on music, which is great. We'll talk about that later. But that's not really a high income skill at first. It takes a lot of momentum to get going, right? So find something. Well, if your intention is to get money quickly or financially support yourself, create an income stream, pick something that suits that, right? So sales is an awesome one. Just go on YouTube, Grant Cardone or whoever, just like sales tips. And you'll get so many. You'll get some from like, I was listening to one, it was like Don Draper from Mad Men. And it was just breaking down. It wasn't even a real person. And just start learning. And then you have a skill. Even if here's the biggest secret. Here's like the biggest takeaway. If you are 10% smarter than the average person about anything, people will think you're an expert.
That's so
It might
true.
even be 5%. Like,
It's so true.
if I go up to anyone and I just start talking to you about audio stuff, like to set up this podcast, you need like 3 skills.
Yeah.
I don't know how to set up the cameras. Shannon does. In my head, expert.
Yeah.
Expert when it comes to like setting up cameras and angles.
Exactly. And Daniel knows probably 10 to 15% more than my brother Daniel knows a little bit more than me. I feel the same way.
So that's the biggest thing to
Yeah.
like get out of your head is you think like, wow, I have to go to school for 4 years, all that. Like some people go to school for 4 years and they're still not an expert.
Yeah.
You just got to be curious and find out what.
And the internet right now
Oh, the internet's amazing
is
if you use it
an
right.
incredible place where you can really learn a lot really quickly.
Yes.
So talk a little bit more about high income skills and what that means.
Okay. Yeah, high income skill is something that is separated from, at least my definition, separated from hourly rates. Because if you're making, I mean, even $100 an hour, that's a nice little, take $100 an hour, right, at first, and then you realize if you want to make $1 million, like how many hours do you want to work? Or if you want to make, let's call it, I don't know, $1,000 a week, or you're still working 10 hours, okay, great. Like, how am I going to get to $50,000 a week? You're going to be working your ass off all the time, right? And you're going to be a slave to that clock. And you're always going to be, you're going to be thinking about how much time you can put in as opposed to what problem can I solve?
Right.
So that's the biggest thing.
It's limiting.
Yeah, so find something, for me, online advertising, right? I can go build a bunch of ad campaigns and do a ton of research for copywriting and finding the audience and all that good stuff. But then, if I want to go to New Hampshire or St. Lucia or wherever for a couple days or a week sometimes, and stuff's like kind of going on its own for a week or two, I can do that. And I'm not tied to the work I put in. I am still tied to the work I put in, but I get a much bigger reward if I'm efficient with my work, right? If it takes me 2 hours to do something and get paid $200 an hour, great, I make $200. But if I just crush flow state heavy those 2 hours and I do something that can make me like $50,000 over the course of the next week, would I just make $25,000 an hour, right?
Yeah.
And I can do that better and better and better. So
Exactly.
find a skill that you can do that. And you are going to have a really nice machine. So Shopify, e-commerce is a great example. Sales is like that too. You are a little bit more tied to the phone, but at the same time, like, why can't you become really good at sales and then build your own team and automate the team?
Exactly. And that might be something that is a little bit more long term, but when it just comes down to the essence of creating a business, which will be a whole nother conversation, I think that is a great start. So step 1, find your
Find a skill, pick a
define
skill.
your skill, become somewhat of a mini expert on it simply through online courses and YouTube and just the internet in general, books.
Or just the easiest one is to just find somebody who's doing what you want to do and just study them a little bit and just like figure out what they like to do and you'll get pretty good pretty
Which
quick.
is another good point because to those who are listening, we are creating a team. The team is getting bigger and bigger every day. Daniel started with lead generation and taught me, and then I taught my brother, and now my brother's teaching some of his friends, and
Pretty cool.
it is pretty cool. And I think when you say find someone who's doing that, we want to create that opportunity for you guys too. So definitely stay tuned to everything that we are doing, because really all it takes to be on the Doing the Most team, not all it takes because you need to be a pretty special person to be on the team, but skill set wise, we just like people who are excited, who are ready to work, and are really passionate. So if you are looking for someone, we definitely want to be that for.
Yeah, which brings me to kind of my next point, which is first you need a skill, find a skill, define a skill, and hopefully upgrade a skill to some extent that you're decent. Then from there, find a partner. So you can be the best marketing person in the world, but if you have zero product to market, you're worthless, right? Until you find a partner. So you need to find a partner to make you valuable, to be valuable for. So for me, I started with yoga studios, and I was literally just emailing people once I took my course. I studied this course for like maybe 20 hours in a week, and I just started emailing people. And then
so you had your skill.
I had my skill.
And now, what was the question in your head? Was it, who can I help with this skill? Who needs this skill?
Yeah, I was. It should have been who can I help. It was like, who will pay for the skill?
Exactly. No.
Yeah, it was like, who is gonna pay me money? I am broke. I need some money ASAP. Who can bite on this, right?
Who needs this?
Yeah. So for me, I was like, and also it was like, who can I handle? Because I don't know how to advertise for like a product or something. What I knew I could do was just like find a local business, put a little ad up that's like, hey, get like $10 off your first yoga class, right? And people would click on it. Like that, I knew I could do, and I knew that would provide a little bit of value.
It would get you that experience that you needed as well.
Yeah, it would give me an opportunity to provide some value to something.
Right.
Even if it wasn't like the most amazing campaign ever, which it actually turned out to be incredible, and they made a lot of money, which is cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I just wanted some very entry level. So I started emailing, right? Emailing, not even calling anybody, because I'm like scared to even call anybody. And I start emailing yoga studios, and within a week, this woman named Dina, very sweet woman, was saying, yes, like let's talk. I can be available at this time. And I went to her studio. Yep. It was like 10-minute drive. I think your friend actually saw me. Shout out Sadia.
You were Ubering there, and she saw you, and I was in Ireland, and she texted me. She said, I just saw Daniel on Main Street in Melrose, like right near. Yeah, I Ubered there because I drove a 99 Taurus, and I didn't want anybody to see me getting out of the car, because like, who wants to buy from the guy who's driving like a $500 car? That's the way you were thinking like that. Yeah, and I had my laptop. I was listening to my sales course, and then I went in. We came to an agreement. She said no like 8 times at first, and because I took my sales course, I knew that no could easily be turned to a yes. If I didn't do that, if I didn't sharpen the skill, because I needed so you need some sales experience or some kind of... If you're going to be promoting yourself. Yeah, exactly. And now we have amazing sales guys that kind of do that for us, which is awesome. But again, the point I'm making is like, I had to upgrade some skills. For me, I knew I needed marketing as a skill, and I knew I needed sales as a little bit of a skill, just so I could get over some of my anxiety. So I had my skills. I went in there. I found a partner. She's like, great. PayPal me. It's supposed to be $1,500. My PayPal wouldn't accept anything over $1,000 or something. I was like, pay me $750 now, and then like $750 later or something. I was like too scared to even ask for like $1,500, and it all worked out great. And that was my first partner that I ever found, and I started making $1,500 a month, which was basically what I was making like with all my other random freelance clients. I was like, wow, one client, like. Right, and I think it's important to note that clients are what you're referring to when you say partner. Yes, yeah. Client, partner, business partner. Someone who is going to pay you. Yeah, pretty much. And partners and clients pay each other, and that's, I prefer the term partner. Yeah, working together. I don't even think I have clients anymore. I literally think of everybody as a partner. And I think of the people who work with us as our partners, our team, and it's because essentially we are all our own mini businesses. And I think when it comes down to what the real core of this conversation is, it's becoming your own mini business, which therefore can grow into a bigger business. Yeah, absolutely. You don't need like a massive industry
or a massive company right off the bat just to get into the industry. You need like one, maybe two people.
Exactly.
Then you got a little company. So
step one,
define, upgrade a skill, or maybe two skills. Take the Elon Musk approach.
maybe one skill, and then that skill's like sidekick skill.
A complementary skill goes a
Exactly.
long way. Yeah, and that's, I think it was Elon's ex-wife said to become a billionaire, like combine two skills and put them together or something. For him, it was like, I don't know, engineering in space or something. But yeah. All right, next, find a partner. Find somebody who will pay you. Find somebody that views, here's the best way to put it. Find somebody that views the skill you just chose as valuable. So if you learn how to like sell, maybe find someone who's selling something, right? So find a high ticket course.
Yep.
Find somebody who, like us, where obviously we have salespeople.
Yep.
Find anybody that needs salespeople. It doesn't have to be your dream company or any. I didn't start with like, you know, my dream company. Sorry, Dina, like I love you, but you know that's not my dream person I want to work for, right? Because I want very big, high ticket stuff.
But it was manageable for you.
Yeah, of
and
course.
it brought in money quickly.
Which then led me to my next, you know,
Exactly.
I started going away from yoga into like home improvement niche and that kind of stuff. And eventually I found my biggest partner, who's still a friend and partner to date. And I found them after like maybe 2 months of looking. And then that led to the month that we were talking about earlier, going from $1,000 to $50,000 in a month in, you know, basically a few months. So that's my step number 2.
Step number 2, and I think something that is really cool about doing this kind of process is, sure, it might take you a decent amount of time to get that first client. How much time do you think put into getting Dina
Like
with all the courses and the prep and the searching, everything?
like 2 to 4 weeks.
But then after that, how many do you think you could have just gotten in the next day?
Very quick. I got my second one in like a week, and then
Yeah.
my third, and then I was too busy to even try to reach out to more people because I was like overwhelmed with the marketing work. So in like a month or two,
So,
which
exactly.
is quick, but also can feel like a long time, the day to day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just stay consistent with things, and eventually you get it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that brings us to the final third step.
Execute. You don't know how many people, I'm not going to name any names, but you don't know how many people will have the skill, will have the partner, and then they just like take their hands and sit on it. They don't do anything. It's so frustrating to see it, especially if that person's a friend, but you see it on just strangers on the internet all the time. And it's so easy to avoid. Just like ask yourself what's important to you. If it's like really, my attic looked like a psychopath's attic because I would write goals and I would just pin them to the wall. I just had tacks and I would just pin them to the wall.
Right.
And I would write things I wanted. And as it looked crazy, and I'm surprised you didn't think I was a fucking lunatic. But
I loved it.
It worked.
I loved it.
She loves success. But it worked. It worked great because I had no choice but to be like, all right, well, let me make sure this like my goals are like $1,000 a week. I was like, all right, let me make sure I get there.
I think that is a great point, and I think that under step 3, and maybe like this can be considered an extra skill, it's the mindset. Execute, and it's the mindset. Get the mindset, and that means writing it down, being psychotic.
Yep.
Change
Be a psycho.
the people that you're following on social media if you're going on social media. Surround yourself with the people that you want to be like. Listen to that content. Read those books.
Yeah.
Listen to Bob Proctor. Buy Think and Grow Rich. Get there. Want it. Because it's nothing without the passion and the belief, but also the undoubtable confidence that it's going to happen. Write that shit down. I am so happy and grateful now that I am a millionaire.
Yes. You don't know how many times I've written down something along the lines of like, now I'm so happy and grateful now I'm making $1 million a week.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, nah, there's no way that the mindset can be that important.
Oh, it is. No, I was all mindset.
Exactly.
All mindset.
What was your biggest week of profit ever
Ever?
in the past 6 months?
Well, if we include investment gains, which I don't think necessarily should be included because they can go down.
Right. We can stick with the pure
like multiple
profitability
6 figures
from this skill.
From this skill,
Yeah.
just under $100,000
In 1 week, people.
Yeah, just under.
6-figure week.
Just under 6
Does that
feet.
come
Yeah.
without the mindset?
Oh, no. You can't, because if you don't believe, it sounds so cheesy, but if you don't believe,
sounds so
you can,
cheesy. It
yeah,
sounds
really,
so cheesy.
I feel like
Okay.
I feel weird even saying, but if you don't believe it's gonna happen, it's never gonna happen.
Right.
But that's something I've kind of taken for granted now. But I still you'll still catch me journaling like I am so happy and grateful for things I really want.
Right.
I do that all the time. I'm not as diligent because at some point you're gonna get some diminishing returns. Like Bob Proctor might disagree with me because I think he still writes like 100 pages of it or something. Probably not something like that, but he writes it like 100 times. And I know what I want. I know exactly what I want. But at the same time, like, you need to remind yourself. And if you're distracted, God, please, like, put it on your mirror or something.
In this
like,
beginning stage, if you are listening to this and you want to follow this path, if you want to be where Daniel is now, where I am now, we had this beginning stage where it really is important to be diligent with it. Right now, it's not as important to be diligent with it, but I think if you're listening to this and you're not where you want to be and you want a 6-figure week and you want to be a millionaire and you want to have your own business, then I think if you're going to start this, it starts with the mindset.
Yeah, there's a great idea from the book Hard Times Create Strong Men from the late Stephen Arnio, and he talks about the first $0 to $1 million you make. It's really like the first, I think it might have been 0 to 100,000. You just gotta grind. Like, you gotta work your ass off. You gotta be focused. If you're in a relationship, you gotta let that person know, like, yo, I'm gonna be very, very focused on something. If you're not in a relationship, don't get distracted by trying to get in a relationship and like having all your priorities jumbled. Like, be focused. Take that Friday, Saturday night when your friends you see all the time are just like, yo, come drink. Like, no, I got to take these extra 3-4 hours. Like, I need to focus, right? If you're not there, like, I think Grant Cardone said this, but if you're not successful or you don't define yourself as successful, because what is success? If you're like struggling and you think you're struggling, you should not be watching Netflix and drinking like 4 or 5 days a week. Like, you're just not gonna get there, and that's gonna make you anxious. And why the hell would you want to do that to yourself? But sometimes we do it to ourselves anyway. But that 0 to 100,000, just grind. And then like after that, to kind of come back to your point, it's like you can kind of let off the gas a little bit. You still got to grind to like maybe $1 million. But then from there, like you can be a little bit more tactical and you don't have to do things like be a psychopath and like write, like really just drill in your goals because they'll kind of already be drilled in at that point. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And what I think is actually so cool about this, and I know we will elaborate more on this, but for those of you who, again, know us, know doing the most, our purpose and our passion is to not only inspire people, but to help them gain financial freedom so they can therefore pursue their true passions and dreams and that hobby or where you want to travel and why are you here on this earth. So, of course, we believe in the mindset of the future billionaire who is watching the courses and waking up and journaling these things and really, really zoning in. But we also believe that the benefits that come from that time, they do come, and that's when you kind of can release the gas. And with balance, always you focus on the business, and you and I are constantly in this cycle. You focus on the business, you focus, and then we go to St. Lucia for 2 weeks and really just reflect on it and have fun and journal and create new things. So
that's a really cool topic right there.
Yeah, there's so many cool topics, and we'll definitely elaborate more into that. But let's stick on the three steps. Let's get back on that. So we were talking about step 3, which is execute, and I think that kind of backtracked us a little bit to before you start any of this, the mindset is so important, so important. And I think if you're looking for a first step, if you're like, what are you guys talking about? Get Think and Grow Rich right now and just start listening to Bob Proctor. Just those 2 things. Those are the 2 things. And The Science of Getting Rich, Think and Grow Rich, Bob Proctor. Like, easy first step, and just can see where that takes you.
Let the river take you somewhere.
Send them off.
Yep, let the river of the internet just take you to all kinds of places.
So let's bring it back to, you have the mindset, you're working on the skill, you're feeling more confident in the skill, you're reaching out to some people, you're finding your partners. Now, step 3, we're executing. All that mindset work is really putting you to the test now. Can you fulfill these orders? Can you provide value?
Are you willing to sacrifice?
Yeah.
Is one that trips a lot of people up. A lot of people. Because if you are going to execute, guess what? If you're working, especially if you're working like a 9 to 5 already.
Yes, exactly.
Like that, I've never had to do that, which I'm very, very grateful for. But if you are in that rhythm, like it can be hard to find. I've worked like a 10 to 4, 4 days a week. And it was like hard to find time for myself. And I was like 19.
Yeah.
So if you have like maybe, you have a kid or a relationship or whatever, you're probably going to need to make some sacrifices to get those extra couple hours in over the course of maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, however long it is. You're going to have to sacrifice like some time with your friends or like time playing video games or watching Netflix or whatever it is. And it doesn't mean you have to forgo those things or forbid those things forever. Like you can come back to them, but you got to know where you're at and where you want to be and how to get there. And you got to be willing to execute. And sometimes execution means sacrifice.
Absolutely, specifically, and I think that's a really good point because I don't want anyone to think that you have to be in your 20s to do this, or you have to be graduated from school, or you have to have 8 hours a day and all the free time in the world, and not have any like some people might be listening. It's like, yeah, I can't quit my job right now.
Yeah, totally. That's understandable.
But that will mean that there will be some sacrifices, and you will have. You can still make it happen.
Totally.
You absolutely can. We're helping people. We individually have helped at least 3 different people just on the Doing the Most team really make some good money with school, with internships, with jobs.
It's all about starting.
Yeah.
There's that quote that's like, if you never start, you'll be the same place you are now as if, you did start in a year or whatever.
Exactly.
And it's like, even if you just make a tiny little step, like, and you do that for a year straight, think about how far you would be if you never started at all. And just start and see where it takes you. At the very least, it's fun.
It's so fun.
Who isn't a little bit sick of their routine and rhythm? Like we went to the Encore Casino last night just because we've been grinding, we've been in a routine. We just want to shake things up a little bit.
And I think something else too. This is an interesting point because just this point that I'm about to start.
Let's do it.
Of course, what you were saying. I when it comes to doing the most, and I was saying this. I want to restart this. So what time are we at right now? We're at like 34.
Okay, cool. Make a note.
We're at like 34 minutes. So what I want to go into now a little bit is, I'll just start it. Let me know when. So what did you just say? We were talking about jobs.
Yeah, jobs, sacrifice.
Yes.
And that kind of stuff.
Right. And as you say, it's really fun to just do it. And if you're someone, so I was talking to one of my friends who really just wanted a job, and I totally respect that. First things first, we are by no means saying this is the only way to happiness. This is, if you love your job, if you love being a teacher, if you love being a nurse, if you love being a doctor, a lawyer, I could not respect that more. So many people love their jobs so much, and that makes my heart happy. But I was talking to one of my friends who really just wanted a job in general, post-grad, because I was like, work with me. First of all, she's incredibly talented, incredibly talented, and I wanted her to work with me, and she just really wanted this job, and I respected that. And I was talking to her, and I was having a similar conversation to this. I was just talking about how much I love doing whatever I want whenever I want. If I want to go visit my brother in the middle of the week, I can go. If I want to fly to Florida tomorrow, I can go. If I want to drink for the next 6 days on the couch, I can do that.
Yep. You're going to pay for it, but you can do it.
I won't want to. I'll hate myself a little bit after, but I can do that. And people who know us or follow us, they see that. Like, I don't think that's bragging by any means. We do whatever we want whenever we want. We go to St. Lucia and then we go to Florida and we miss our flight and it's not a big deal. And I was having this conversation.
No, go ahead.
I was having this conversation with my friend who really wanted the job, and I was like, I don't know, and maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me, and I love not having to go to work tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Or I love that. Maybe it's just me. Like, so maybe some people just really love that routine. And I was like, I personally just really love just doing whatever I want to when I want to. And my friend said, yeah, well, everybody does. And that just kind of lit off a little something in my brain, and it made me think, because if you do have a job that you really, really love, I totally respect that. But I find that there's so many people that love certain parts of their job that they could then take that certain part and really gain it, make it their own, make it their own business, their own service, and gain the freedoms and the lifestyle that is being an entrepreneur. And I think it's a really just cool conversation to have, at least, because like I said, I by no means think the way we live is the only way to live and everyone else is doing it wrong, because I don't. But I do think there's something to be said about freedom and being able to take your passions and what you love and, monetizing off of that.
Yeah, and you got to be clear with yourself. Like, for me, even when I was 20 in my little attic place, I knew one of my biggest values was freedom.
Yeah.
And I remember my brother asked me, he picked up this Dean Graziosi book, and he didn't really like it, but he read the first chapter. I didn't like it either. No disrespect to Dean. But he got one really good question out of it, was like peeling back the layers. You keep asking yourself, like, why? For me, I was doing music. Why? 7 questions over and over again. And the one I always came back to was freedom. I hated having to be at Bertucci's at like 11 a.m. for a lunch shift or whatever it was. And I didn't like that lack of freedom. So if you are in that position where you're in a job and you like doing it, but maybe you don't like the freedom, maybe you start shaking your edges a little bit and seeing if you can loosen up your schedule and make it more freedom-based. Or maybe you love having the structure and that lack of freedom, in a sense, gives you freedom. So maybe everybody does like having that, but you got to be clear with yourself. And maybe so many times we're blind to like why we're not happy or something's wrong. You feel anxious. You feel like, I just don't know what's going on. I just don't feel right. You're just blind to it. And there's a great saying, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame.
Yes.
Right? So getting clarity on that is as simple as asking yourself, what do I value? Right? For me, my number one, still to this day, and probably will be till I die, is freedom. And that goes just everywhere.
Exactly.
Like
it's really just
in my
knowing
business,
yourself.
in my relationship, in myself. I like to be free from my own struggles, demons, like pains, like back pain, all that stuff, right? I like to be free in my own body. So that's so important for me. And it just makes me think, on your point, like what are other people's values, and are we as human beings being true to our values the most we can? And I think that's another way to do the most, is like slam that freedom, slam whatever that value is, and get the most out of it.
Do the most with it, absolutely. And something that you and I always experience as well is, we've been in this constant cycle again, the balance. It always comes down to the balance. But we obviously value our freedom, and that means we really want to create businesses that allow us to be financially free, be free time-wise, be free from having to, drive in rush hour traffic, or be free from, waking up at 8 a.m. when you don't really want to, or be in a cubicle when it's 80 degrees outside, free from that. But then we also, through that work, have the freedom to be like, all right, we're working too hard. We need to drop everything. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah, totally.
We have been working really hard for like a month. We've had, obviously, we don't work every single day, but we've been really grinding for like a month, and we just kind of checked in with ourselves, and that kind of adventure and fun value was lacking. So
it's out of balance.
Yep.
So out of balance.
Right. If we lived like this every day, we wouldn't have the businesces that we have, which would provide the financial freedom to have the days like this.
And you just go insane because you're just living like without this structure.
Exactly. I think that balance will absolutely be a theme on this show, and we have found we have found balance in a lot of different things. And I think that there's so many cool parts about just having your own business, and even if it's not having your own business, it's just being your own business. I think everyone knows that works with us. We, 1, aren't your boss. 2, we're not going to tell you when you have to work. And 3, allow you to take it to the moon if you want to. Our guys and girls, they work whenever they want to, and we pay them based off on their results. And that really allows them to have the freedom to, hey, want to go to Dallas to go watch the Red Sox games against the Texans? Like, you want to do that?
Sign me up.
Yeah. Oh, the week after that, you want to go to the beach on a Wednesday because there's no traffic? it's a really nice thing, but to go on even on a deeper level, it allows you to really work hard, but then take some time to work on other things that truly make you happy. And for us, it has been obviously our creative outlets through music and dance, but then also this brand and what we're creating with Doing the Most. We would not be able to be in our own podcast studio if it wasn't for our self-running businesses. And if we had a certain job that tied us down to a kind of limited cap of how much money we could make, but also how much time we need to put in, it's just given us a really awesome opportunity to explore creative things, and really just nothing's cooler than, just thinking, what's my purpose? How am I going to change the world today? And I know that's what we're doing with this brand, and it's a really cool thing to just work on. And I'm not saying that to hype us up, because I think everyone is meant to change the world in some way, shape, or how, and really change the world through pursuing their passions. And
what do you think your purpose is?
Oh, gosh.
If you had to put it
Well, we've
simply.
had this conversation before about how I have mine and you have yours, and they're kind of reversed.
Yeah, they're complementary.
They're complementary.
In a contrarian way.
I believe my purpose, and I think my purpose is constantly evolving. I believe my purpose is to help others, so that it also helps me.
Yeah.
In kind of a humanitarian, gathering the people. I am a protagonist in all of my characteristics.
Personality types.
My personality type. And
very social.
Yes.
Bring people together.
Bringing people together to really just connect in a way that allows us to all live our best lives, which then makes the planet better.
Yeah.
It's deep. It's been fun to pursue that. And that sounds kind of woo-woo, but
very
that can
Buddhist.
It's very Buddhist, yeah.
I like it.
I got my elephant pants on, what can I say? But I really do believe that, and like I said, it could sound woo-woo, but I do believe that it is so amazing to even just start with what you think your purpose could be, and then find little different ways to do that.
Yeah,
like this podcast. This podcast, I want to... You listeners, I want you to work with us, and I want to help you become financially free and pursue your dreams. And we're not just saying that. We are putting boots on the ground, making this stuff happen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're paying people, calling people, executing, teaching people. Literally doing exactly what we just talked about, of finding a skill or teaching people skills, and then going to find partners, and then going to execute. It's the same thing.
Exactly. And doing that allows to see, I have multiple purposes, because then another purpose is I just want to have the most incredible life and really pursue everything I want to do. I know there's some people out there traveling the world every single day, but we're building this business and we're traveling, and even how I just started dancing again.
You bring up a great idea of multiple purposes.
Yeah.
There's a book called The One Thing by, I think, Gary Keller, and I refuse to read it, even though everyone says how amazing it is. Yeah. I refuse to read it because I hate how, and I might be missing the point of the book, but I hate how black and white the idea of one thing is. For me, that's been so fucking intimidating. And
I feel that.
Whenever I'm going through personal growth, and my most recent one is very, very heavy marketing, and then I decide I need to get some creative stuff going. I need to get my music things going. That was oh my God, what is my purpose? Is it marketing? Is it music? Is it this? I can't do marketing and music. I can't do that and this. And it's just
I feel like that's what we're taught. Yeah.
Yeah, your brain starts freaking the fuck out, because I can only do one thing, or I have to have one purpose. No. To some extent, let's use LeBron James. His focus has always been basketball. Actually, for him, I think he played multiple. Let's use Kobe. Right. I think Alex Becker was using the Kobe Bryant example, where it's he just studied basketball. Basketball was his life. But you look a little deeper in there, guess what? What do you start to find? He's in the gym later than everybody. It's not just basketball. It's fitness too. He's no, I can be the baddest dude in the gym and still crush on court. Or I can be the best dad I can be, and that's going to channel itself over to the course, or over to the court.
Exactly.
Right? That stuff is now you start nuancing your brain. You're tricking yourself, because man, I've fallen in this so many times, and I refuse. You'll probably catch me doing it at some point. If you do, just say you're falling into the one thing trap, and just avoid that, and don't fall victim to that. But back to multiple purposes is the reason I bring all that up.
And it's a great point because, like, with even the self-help books or the business self-help books that we've read, they really do say, like, focus in, like, what's your skill? Like, and there's that quote, jack of all trades, master of none.
I hate that.
Or even you go to school and what's your major? What's your major?
What's your one thing?
What do you want to be when you grow up?
And everyone, what do people say when what's your major?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know yet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not supposed to know. That's a ridiculous question.
But they want us to think about it.
Yeah.
They totally do.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous.
Whoever they are.
Because it's like, all right, take, like, you're gonna be a circle. All right, you go to the circle hole.
Yep.
Like, you're a triangle. You're an accountant. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
Limiting.
Fuck that. It's so
really
limiting. So limiting.
And that has been so eye-opening to both of us, just because imagine if, we were only building the brand, right? We were only building the brand. We were just doing hoodies and content. It would be really hard without being financially free at the same time.
Yeah.
But then there's also that part of us now that loves sitting down with the laptop, building out a bunch of campaigns.
Fresh after coffee, getting locked in,
feel
some
so
like
productive.
focus music going on.
Some good business problems, talking to people, working together.
That's therapeutic.
But then there's also the side of us that could sit on the couch and have Rebel ice cream and watch Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix and full on chill.
Yep.
Full on chill. Yep. So I think it's really important to go back to, checking in with yourself. What do you need right now, and which one of your purposes will best help you fulfill that? Sometimes I'm feeling so social, and I just really want to connect with people, so that it leads me to want to plan an event or get the teams working together or add some new sales guys or onboard someone or maybe bring on some new clients or get more people involved with the social media. But then other times I just want to zone into the marketing side of things, zone into that, build out some new campaigns, be really strategic, and it's very fulfilling. Yeah. And it really has helped everything stay so fresh, and that's another super cool topic because we've done that in so many different ways.
All the time. Just like submitting to the ebb and flow of life.
Exactly.
Right? That's what it's all about.
Baby. Yin and yang.
Yeah, for sure. Balance. Like, do something over and over again, you're going to get a little bit fried out. And then it's stupid because you took 3 weeks to do something, but if you did like 2 weeks of that and then took the other week to go do something you like by the time you're back to that first initial thing, like, you're so much stronger and recharge up. It's a win-win. Yeah. So
it's like you're constantly shaking the snow globe.
Yeah,
like even for us, just being home in one state for more than a month, it was different. It was different. Routine was different.
Oh, yeah.
Not being in an airport was different. And
not sleeping at a hotel.
Yeah, it brings out a really cool, just different sides of us. And that goes down to different purposes, but also different kinds of personalities that are within us.
Yeah.
And
just seasons changing, just life, like time moving along, that's very natural to want to move what you're doing in your days.
This is such a
great
first episode because we go from it's exactly us. It's exactly what this podcast is going to be. It's pure business and let's make so much money to but the ebbs and flows and yinks and yangs. Balance, baby.
Make sure you're painting pictures and drawing with colored pencils and being creative.
Yes, exactly. And it's I think we could cap it off right here. You and I have so much to talk about, but I think episode 1, baby. Books. In the books. So let's do a little bit of a summary here of what we just talked about over this past 50 minutes or so.
Yeah, I could go another 2 hours.
There'll be more. Me too. There'll be more, but let's leave them hanging a little bit. First thing, if you have made it this far into the podcast, I want to say that I appreciate you listening to us, and I see anyone who is listening to us or following us or working with us or just reaching out in any way, shape, or form. They are supporting us, and by supporting us, you are doing yourself a favor. Let's continue to support each other. If you see someone doing something cool, support them. I have been that person, that jealous person. And yeah, I'm saying you might be jealous of some things that we're doing. We might be jealous of some things that you're doing.
I'm jealous of so many people.
But let's change the mindset. Let's be like, that's so fucking cool. So if you guys think what we're doing is cool, I really appreciate that. I know everyone who has been following us and kind of knows of doing the most. It's often like, what are you guys doing? And I hope this podcast allows us to really open the doors bring everyone into our life a little bit. And I am so excited about this podcast, and I think the team that we continue to build from it and the relationships that we continue to make from it. So if you're listening to this, and something I think is so cool about doing the most, and one of the coolest things is more than just being a fan, a listener, we want you involved. So stay tuned, because we want to create job positions, not even job positions, partnerships for you with us to make money if that's what you want to do. So do you want to elaborate on anything that I just said about that?
No, that was gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, so if you've made it this far, we appreciate the support, and
let's give them something for making it this far. How about
if you've made
a
it this
discounted
far,
hoodie?
If you made it this far, DM me, my personal page, Shannon Fairweather _ that we said this, be like, hey, I listened to the whole podcast, and I will give you a 50% discount code on the Doing the Most hoodies.
That's an aggressive discount code. I was going to say like 10%.
50.
Damn.
50.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I look forward to seeing who's made it this far.
Me too. But on that point, again, a big mindset change for me was the people I was jealous of, I'd see it and be like, hell yeah. Like,
totally.
Once you change it from hate to hype.
Ooh, I like that.
Once you change it from hate, like, oh, you see someone doing something so cool. The ego wants you to think that way. The ego wants you to be upset that someone has something that you want.
I feel like jealousy and inspiration are almost like the same emotion, right? You see someone, you're like, oh, and they're like, oh, like, exactly what you said. Like, you turn like, that's so cool. Like,
so cool.
Nobody who's successful has any issue with anybody else being successful.
Exactly.
They think like, wow, that's awesome. Like, someone just made $10 million in a day. Beast.
Yes. 6 figures in 1 week. That's cool. That's cool.
It is.
And
it is.
I used to have this limiting belief as well that, I shouldn't want to learn from him because he's my boyfriend. Or I shouldn't want to learn from her because she's my friend. And, that's a lot. I have so much pride in being your first mentee and learning from you. Absolutely. So
you've been a great protege.
I think this has been an amazing episode. I really appreciate you doing episode 1 with me.
I really appreciate you having me here.
Let's give it one more little summary of the 3 steps.
Yep.
Maybe
pick a
some
skill.
Words of final words of wisdom.
Yeah. Pick a skill. Upgrade the skill. Preferably make it something you like to some extent. I don't know why people pick jobs or roles that they don't like. If you don't know what you like, there's a great thing online called 16personalities.com. I think just Google 16 personalities and answer their questions a few times. I did it like 3 times. It's a personality test. It'll help. Like, it's not 100%. It's not concrete, right? You're an individual. You're changing, but can help you kind of find roles that you're good in. So pick something you really like. Find somebody that will pay you to do it. Ideally, someone you also like. Sometimes you might have to work for people or work with people you don't like.
Maybe a niche you like.
Yeah, pick a niche you like, something you're relatively interested in. So, if you really like roofs and you want to sell, maybe go be a roof salesman, right? Maybe you don't like roofs, whatever it is. Just go find something you like. And then just, number 3, don't be afraid to sacrifice. And don't be afraid to explain your sacrifice either. Like, we could do a whole segment on communication.
We will.
Yeah, like if you're in a relationship, it's a great example. And like you have to, hey, we're gonna have to sacrifice. Like, I know we're watching Billions three nights a week, but we got to go down to 1 night a week, right? And
I'm not going to text you back every 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
we've been there.
That's a great one.
There.
Yeah, that's just like the absolute killer for any
kind
of focus.
We have so much to talk about, but let's keep going.
Totally. So, don't be afraid to sacrifice. Don't be afraid to communicate your sacrifices to your loved ones, friends. Like, if they actually love you and they want to see you do well, and you tell them, hey, I'm doing something really cool for me. I need to focus on this for a month or 2 or whatever. Like, let's do something this day or whatever. I need to focus on this. Don't be afraid to communicate like that. If they hate you forever, they probably weren't that good of a friend in the first place, but hopefully they understand. So those are my awesome. 3 tips.
Awesome. So cool. I think this has been an amazing talk. Again, if you've made it this far, we appreciate your support.
Yep.
Definitely follow us for more content and honestly potential partnership opportunities, money-making opportunities at Do What You Do the Most on Instagram, and definitely my personal page, Shannon Fairweather _, as well as...
Yeah, you can find me, Daniel Linger, on Instagram, the 3 in Daniel, or the E in Daniel is a 3, so D-A-N-I-3-L.
He's autistic, people. He told you. He wasn't joking around.
Come on. Yeah,
Amazing.
you know where to find me.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We will... I'm going to do that one more time. So, what are we at? We're at 57. How do we want to finish it off? Do we have any little sayings you want to say or anything? Keep doing the most.
Yeah, just keep doing the most.
Yeah.
Just remember, keep doing the most.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I think that finishes it up, Daniel. Again, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for listening, and
Absolutely.
keep doing the most.
Keep doing the most,
we'll
baby.
See you soon.